this NEP 2020. In fact, when this program started, 2 days back, I was really curious about Dr. Sushil Dubey, because of course, as it is being appreciated and hailed by everyone, not only in India, but even outside India, that this educational policy is really giving a lot of thrust on reviving the old values, or the values which have somehow got diminished over a couple of centuries. So I think yoga and meditation are two aspects of that, two major aspects of that. And since Dr. Sushil Dubey has been following this, and not only following, but even in fact mentoring different universities and different academic forums in terms of yoga and meditation, as well as he is an author of some well-known books in this field. So as an attendee also, not only as an co-host, because since he is also associated with ICPR, which is our co-host for this program, along with ICHR, that is Government of India Council. So, sir, I'm really looking forward to your session, and I'm sure beside talking an overview or some certain generic things, you will be talking about yoga and meditation, how it has really found a new restrained form in this new educational policy. So I think all of us are fortunate as a attendees, as well as a member of organizing committee, to listen to him. And thank you, Anchor Ishita Mishra and Adarsh, for giving me this honor to welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Over to Ishita Mishra.
Thank you so much, sir. Sushil, sir, we all are very much eager to hear your session. So it will be our honor to hear you. So if you can, then please begin.
Thank you so much for introducing me, and as also finding this great opportunity to talk upon this 1 week faculty development program on national education policy, a way forward. So, for this
Your
program,
voice is a little slow. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Your voice is a little bit low.
kindly check now. It is okay.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
It's fine. Thank you. So, in this 1 week program on national education policy, a way forward, in this program, it is a great opportunity to be the part of this, to contribute something which I could with this platform, with this August gathering of faculty members who are also here to take way forward, which is enshrined, which is proposed and propagated and approved in our National Education Policy 2020 by the Government of India, and the program being organized by Babu Banarsidas Educational Group and the very respectable Chief Patron, Mrs. Eka Das Gupta, the Chairperson, BBD Group of Education, Sri Viras Sagar Das, President of BBD Group, and being the co-host and sponsor of this program, Professor Arvind P. Jamkar, Honorable Chairman, ICHR, and our Honorable Chairman, Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, Chairman of Indian Council of Philosophical Research, and very respectable our member secretary, Professor Kumar Ratnanji, who will also be addressing to us in this 5 days, 7 days, this in fact our faculty development program, and very honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. A.K. Mittalji, Babu Banarsidas University, Lucknow, and Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhanji, Director, this BBD ITM, Lucknow, and our all other people who will be here as a patron, Dr. Unju Upadhyay, Director Research and Administration, ICHR, and Professor Dr. Monika Mehrotra, Director BBDC Lucknow, and of course Dr. Sivangi, who is making all his successful effort in coordinating and organizing, and other all team members. So with this small introduction and this,
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
yes.
I'm really sorry for again disturbing you. Sir, actually your voice is not clear. A lot of participants are complaining regarding it. So if it's possible, you keep your microphone a little bit near, because the voice is getting low.
1 minute. Hello, now the voice is clear?
Yes, sir. This is perfect.
Perfect. Okay, fine. So I was just giving my all tribute and respect to the patron of the university, and also the patron of this program, all Babu Banarsi Das educational groups, various organizations, and also giving my word of respect to all honorable our people who are the co-host, that is the chairman of ICHR, ICPR, and also the member secretary, Professor our Kumar Ratnamji, and vice chancellor of the university. And of course I was addressing to the overall distinguished teacher faculty members who are here to take forward the very message of this faculty development program, that is the national education policy, a way forward. So it is a deep privilege to contribute something. And of course, as I have been remarked that this national education policy, which is also having the component, and it is starting with the Indian knowledge system and the very legendary our tradition, very resourceful, very enriched our tradition, our educational system, where the India had a wisdom of our darshan, which based upon the Indian traditional values, Indian traditional culture, which is to be inculcated, and a way forward to be taken, and inspirations always to be taken from that. With this I will come on, of course, at the end part of the lecture, but what I have planned initially, which I communicated also, that I shall be talking about the online education, which is now addressed in our national education policy, and which is also the need of the time, and with which we are all here gathered together, and we have to cope up with it, and we have to carry forward it in ongoing this current corona pandemic situations. So I will begin with this our national education policy online, what it has to say, and what exactly we also finding directions within our this course of discussion in this faculty development program. So I have a presentation here, and I wish to show the screen, entire screen I will be showing, and this national education policy, I think it is visible.
Yes, sir.
So this is the national education policy, online education and research. With this I would like to begin. What is here advocated? This is our national education policy 2020, divided into 4 parts. We have school education, and clauses 1 to 8 are concerned with that, and structure of our this national education policy I am just very briefly showing. And this is the part 2 on higher education, and of course part 3 other key areas of focus, and part 4 that how to making it happen. Clauses 26 to 28 are concerned with that. So with this structure, now we can begin. What is online education and research? We can find in our national education policy for furtherance of our faculty and our profession, to take help of it and to make our further endeavor. And also I would like to mention very important thing before starting the discourse on specified clauses which are there in our national education policy. Is there any disturbance? Shall I continue?
So there was a little disturbance, but you may continue, please. Now it's fine.
Sure. So what is the importance of national education policy? What exactly the terms are there? What exactly the guidance for taking furtherance in our national education policy on each of its clause, on each of its terms, on each of its important thing? we can, or it is the indication for the government, to the policymakers, to the organizers, to the universities, to the institutions, to the national bodies, to prepare further the organization of institutions, organizations of the committees, organizations, and establishment of the implementation of each and every part. So this is what is the importance of each clause which are there in our national education policy. And let us come to the online education and research. So this is the part 1, school education, class 1 to 8, and we are here at least 50 times in our national education policy. This online word is occurring, and importance is given. That is, we need to see, we need to find out where and what way it is there, particularly in this presentation, which is aimed at. So we have the curriculum, and on schools learning to be holistic, integrated, and as we can see, once internet connected smartphones or tablets are available at home and in school, online apps and quizzes, competitions, assessment, enriched materials, and online communities for shared interest. This is what is being talked in our national education policy, particularly towards the school education, because we are building our nation through the primary to the very elementary level, and building up towards our graduation to post-graduation to the research level. So it is starting with the very foundation or building. So teaching, learning process, online resources and collaborations, digital pedagogy, these have been addressed. And specifically about the teachers, there are the 5.3 clauses. It is telling about that the harmful practice of excessive teacher transfer will be halted, so that the continuity in their role models and educational environment to be maintained and transfer in very specific circumstances. So these all matter has been addressed towards as a transparency system, as a transparent, it should all be, so that a role model, which is the teachers are there, who are carrying forward every aspects of educational implementations and bringing up our future generations. It has been addressed in our this 5.3 clause. And 5.15 clause, that you can see, online teacher development and modules, platform, especially online platforms, it has been talked about. It is to address to the diverse interest and give opportunities. Let us move to the our clause 8. So this clause 8 is concerning about accreditation and school education. This feedback, which is a very important part of every event, every process, every effort, because it reboost and re-energized and redirect the efforts which are being done. So here the feedback from randomly selected student will be solicited and valuable input at regular intervals. So this online, what is going to be the effort, it is further to be supported by the feedback. And in 8.7, public and private schools both have been addressed, except the schools that are managed, aided and controlled by the central government be assessed, and their process of accreditation. And here also the online system has been talked about. So with this, we move forward to our higher education, which all our faculty development program, our members, very respectable teacher members are concerned more. And clauses 9 to 19, they are there, in which online education and research have been talked about. And we just see that quality education system, here it is addressed. and this quality university and colleges a new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. 9.3 clause, it is talking about increased access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures, including greater opportunities for outstanding public education, scholarship by private philanthropic universities for disadvantaged and underprivileged students. So online education and open distance learning, that is the ODL, and all infrastructure and learning materials accessible and available to learners with a disability. So this online platform is important because it is addressing to those who are the IT, they can be reached and they can be connected with the online mode of education, and this way it will be a more generalized way of catering the need and the way for taking further in our education system. So clause 10 is talking about in higher education part of our national education policy, that institutional restructuring, and 10.10 clause, it is telling institutions will have to option to run open distance learning and online programs provided they are accredited to do so. Of course, accreditation and standardization and permission to carry forward or to run the online courses and prepare the online material. There should be the countrywide, the uniformity and access to them. So their accreditation is very much required.
देवा तो अच्छा बच्चा है.
Dear participants, please kindly mute yourself. Sorry to disturb you, sir. Sorry.
In order to enhance their improve, very important, and that we are very much trying to increase for last decade, that this general enrollment ratio should increase in primary level and should further be taken in more percentage way in secondary education level. So, and that is what the number shall be greater, the number shall be higher in our graduation system of the number of students, and the possibility of more people to reach the higher education, and of course on the research. So this online education, this ODL, it has been addressed, and of course high quality developing the online courses, such as quality online courses will be suitably integrated into the curricula of higher education institutions, and blended mode will be preferred. This blended mode is very important, and we shall be again and again coming back to this word in our discussion on this platform, on this particularly this discussion of today's. Now class 12 is optimal learning environments and support for students. So this ODL online and traditional in class mode, our curriculum, our pedagogy and assessment within a broad framework of higher education qualification that is addressed here in our clause 12.2 and 12.5 clause, which is also telling that online distance learning and online education provide a national or the natural path to increase access to quality higher education, or in order to leverage its potential completely, online distance learning will be renewed through concreted evidence-based efforts towards expansion, while ensuring adherence to clearly articulated standards of quality. This is what is addressed. So a very clearly stipulated online mode of education and quality and standard all has been addressed. In clause 12.6, all programs, courses, curricula and pedagogy across the subjects, including those in class online and in online distance learning mode, as well as student support, will aim to achieve global standards of quality. This global standard of quality is very important because just to mention that this online education and its standard, its way of teaching, the way the course module are prepared, the quality is mentioned, the kind of issues or points which are addressed, they are all available online and open to all if once they are coming online. So a cutting edge quality standard has to be maintained, which is further addressed in our national education policy. And in this way, of course, we are standing this online platform open to all, accessible to all, available to all from anywhere, from any part. So a global standard of quality is definitely addressed here, and it has to be achieved. It can be achieved and shown in our online education system, which has been addressed in clause 12, and we may move forward to our this clause 15, this teacher education, and this teacher education, clause 15.10, the use of technology platforms such as Swayam Diksha for online training of teachers will be encouraged so that standardized training programs can be administered to large number of teachers within a short span of time. We shall be coming to this Swayam and all this online platform of massive open online courses and all those aspects which are the furtherance with our online education policy. So this way, like we are here almost 180 people or 204 participants, a large number, we are in online platform, we are all together discussing. So this online platform is opening a large number of teachers or the participants or the learners. In fact, lifelong learning is here in address in our educational system. And of course, in our online education policy also, which is further there we will see in part 3, this transforming the regulatory system of higher education, it is also addressed. Feedback and randomly selected students. Higher education institutions will be solicited online to ensure valuable input at regular intervals. And now we can come to our national education policy part 3, which is other key areas of focus, and clauses 20 to 24 are there to addressing this. And among these 20 to 24 clauses, they are here in 21.9 clause. Each clause is further divided into various sub clauses, and this 21 clause point 9, it is addressing both public and private sector agencies, institutions will devise strategies to improve the quality and attractiveness of books published in all Indian languages. Steps will be taken to enhance online accessibility of library books and further broad basing of digital libraries. This is very important as we have come into this lockdown situations, and we are finding a need that is to access many books, and through Google Books, through our online various libraries, from the InflibNet, our internet or intranet accessibility to access libraries by the UGC. These all facilities have become the very vital source of accessing literature, accessing educational resources. So this has been addressed in our also in our adult education and lifelong learning, this clause. And further in this clause, that online courses, information and communication technology equipped libraries and adult education centers. So this lifelong learning has been addressed, and this education policy that is addressing to the part of students only, but education is to educe. शिक्षा संस्कारों की जननी है, और संस्कार जो है वो गर्भाधान संस्कार, पूर्व संस्कार भारतीय परंपरा में जो कहे गए हैं. So in that way, a lifelong learning is also addressed, and opportunities are there in online mode or blended mode. In many cases, quality adult education could thereby conducted in an online or blended mode. We will see what exactly this blended mode is there. In clauses 23, among that 23.10, higher education institutions will play an active role not only in conducting research or disruptive technologies, but also in creating initial versions of instructional materials and courses, including online courses in cutting edge domains, and assessing their impact on specific areas such as professional education. Professional education, there has been a significant and remarkable change since 1990, particularly in India, where management and engineering dominance occurs, and it remains there, and that required a lot of professional educational institutions. And we have also come across the cutting edge domains. So cutting edge, what does it exactly mean? What have come across up to the level of knowledge? We need to further talk about the what is further to be positively inculcated to develop it more. So always this cutting edge domains, this cutting edge endeavors for the furtherance of the knowledge, for the development of the knowledge and growth, it is there. It also has been addressed in our online education policy, and this is the way that it is in each way it is way forward. And this is our clause 24, which is addressing on online education, ensuring equitable use of technology. And this clause is also very important in our discussion, that equitable use of this our digital education. And many are there who could be not accessing online mode, like because of the connectivity, because of the constraint, not having the this mobile, or having the digital traditional mobile system. So in that way, how it has to be addressed, and this clause is particularly talking about or addressing to this new circumstances and realities require new initiatives. So it is addressing that as are the circumstances and the realities, new initiatives has to be there, and they are there. The recent rise in epidemic and pandemics, we are talking about this corona pandemic. We are here, we are all suffering, our society, our brothers and all our colleagues, which are either isolated or the working has been constrained, institutions are closed. So what our national education policy has taken consideration of such kind of situations where epidemics and pandemics becomes and they necessitated that we are ready with alternative modes of quality education whenever and wherever traditional and in-person modes of educations are not possible, like in this last 6 months it has happened. And in this regard, the National Education Policy 2020 recognizes the importance of leveraging and advantages of technology while acknowledging its potential risk and dangers also. Maybe the health hazard that we have been earlier talking about, the students not to use mobile, but now it has become the reality. They are reading, their education is going in that way. So it calls for carefully designed and appropriately scaled pilot studies. It is not just pushing forward that this has to be done, but it is telling pilot studies to be done and to determine how the benefits of online digital education can be reaped while addressing or mitigating the downsides also. So both way a very systematic, a very balanced way it has been addressed in our national education policy. And we may see the clause 24.2, which is telling the benefits of online digital education, and that cannot be leveraged unless the digital divide is eliminated. What exactly is this digital divide? That some people are having the access and another are not capable, or not so resourceful, or not so much trained, or not having the their capacity to purchase those kind of things. So this digital divide has to be eliminated through concreted efforts such as the Digital India campaign and the ability of evaluating basis in our educational, higher education and research, it is important that the use of technology for online and digital education adequately addresses concerns of equity. As our Constitution of India, where the education of all, their equity has been addressed. So in our online, this our national education policy is also concerns and talking about these points and also addressing these issues. So this online digital education ensuring equitable use of technology, again in several places, this equitable use of technology, this you can see 7 times here in this clause, this online and digital word is occurring, and it is telling online good teacher that online classroom, online assessment, online examination at a scale including limitations, online environment, handling network, power disruptions, preventing unethical practices, certain type of course and subjects, limitation of online digital education spaces, and blended mode, it is telling in several ways where we have to get it blended because of the experiments, because of the dissections, because of the visual activities required of researcher. So it is telling in the last 3 lines, you can see the blended with experimental and activity based learning. It will tend to become a screen based education with limited focus on the social, affective and psychomotor dimensions of learning. So it is telling that last 5th line, you can see the limitation also. It is talking about limitation in the online digital education space, which can be overcome to a partial extent with innovative measures. So how we can address, what could be the innovation way to address, like these things have been very adequately and in a concerned way it has been addressed in our online, this national education policy. So it is talking about the pilot studies, so that to eliminate or remove the hurdles, and appropriate agencies such as the NIUS, IGNOU, IITs, NITs, etc. to conduct the pilot studies, and wherever the hurdles, where the limitations are there, how they can be addressed, and what is the way while mitigating the downsides. This is what it is talking about. So very important clauses these are, and they are there for taking us forward, a way forward, that is the faculty development of our program and online education and research that we are talking about. And this clause 24.4b is also addressing digital infrastructure. What exactly is this digital infrastructure? Like this PowerPoint show I am showing, people are concerned, it will be further available, as I have been told, in this our organizing host, their channel, available to all to see what are the issues, what are the furtherance in our online education system and research. So all we are preparing here in our common effort, a digital infrastructure, particularly online national policy, online education and research. This is the one of the way to prepare it, to discuss it, to take further this. So there is a need to invest in creation of open, interoperable, evolvable public digital infrastructure in the education sector that can be used by multiple platforms and pilot solution to solve for India's scale, diversity, complexity, and device penetration. This device penetration word is also important, that how many devices and what kind of operating system being used, whether it is compatible, in which way, half screen, full screen it is coming. So these all issues widely and vividly and realistically have been addressed in our this online education and research. And we can see further clause 3, it is talking about Swayam Diksha and interface for holding online classes are real necessity, as we have already seen. Digital repository, dissemination, content creation, these have been addressed, and we will see also in our further presentation that what is that massive online open courses and various other ways which were already there, and how e-content preparations are available in our national scenario, with the efforts by the government, by the Ministry of Education, that we will see in the later part in another presentation. So this online education, this teaching platforms and tools, online assessment and examinations also had been addressed, and a pilot way to assessment of using education technology focusing on 21st century skills. This have been addressed, that what could be the competencies, portfolio, rubrics, standardized assessment, and assessment analytics. These have been talked in our national education policy. So it is each and every aspects in detail, in depth manner it is addressing, and it is our common effort to take furtherance to this. And this clause 24 point again 4J is also online digital education, digital teaching learning, and 24.6 extensive use of technology and online education. In this common online platform, a large number of like you can see this YouTube broadcasting 1 lakh simultaneously can be joined together, and it has become the new normal for us, a reality where happens to be the say a limited number of students in the class. There could be the large number, provided how vividly, how we are concerned with the issues of the large number and how we are catering them and satisfy them, that will further depends upon the our individual efforts to utilize the success of this online education platform. So these are the abbreviations which are used in this my presentation. You can see just, and with this this online education and research, which is I was talking about the National Education Policy 2020, a way forward. It has been first time addressed in any education policy that we can say, and this is what is the success and what is the significant and what is the furtherance of available to all of us to take our efforts and make this all clauses, that how we can utilize them or how it is directing us. See what is addressed in all these clauses, we can make our efforts. Institutions are all in a they are there to prepare the environment, to the lab, to all issues. It is not like that ki, this education policy is concerned with the government and this is the government or the somebody else will have to do all these points and it has to be implemented. No. Any policy is a guidance being the citizen of the country. This is the all our prime duty to being in a country to take further what are the our common prepared with all our endeavor. These 5 years it took, or how it is the largest consultation in the history of education, that after which this online our national education policy was there available to all, and their suggestions have been taken into the consideration. And after more 34 years this new education policy has come into the scenario. So for all of us, we can think about these points. We need to further devise the courses, devise the ways that it is presenting or capacitating us through the policy, that these are there and these are the directions, these are the approvals from the government of India towards their in their policy. And this way a collective capacities as well as responsibilities both together with us to utilize and take it further. So with this humble note, I am this National Education Policy 2020 online education and research I have talked about. So I am just stopping the sharing, and as I told, any questions from any participants. Otherwise there are two further more addendum to this which I wanted to show all of you. That is, the one of them is concerned with online and open educational resources and e-contents, and another is the online resources, learning, preparation and launching. These two small presentation also in addition to this online education policy, making our faculties to be aware about these two very important aspects, that how to go further in online resources and education and research, I wish to continue. So before starting this, I just wish to invite if our any faculty members who are here in large number, if they wish to say something, they are invited for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes, participants can write their question in the chat box.
Yes.
Sir, I read a question from Professor Muralidhar there, and he says that, is it possible to create a viable alternative to the education system through online learning system in our country, where large section of students are from rural area?
Yes, this question actually already under the address, because not only the rural areas, but it has also talked about the underprivileged section, persons with disabilities. So this online mode, how it can address, we have massive online open courses, various channels that Swayam Prabha, e-content that government already proposed, and they are there in national scenario. So these have been addressed. So and next presentation is of course based upon that, so we shall be seeing them. And rural areas particularly where the connectivity issue might be there, so this also has been addressed in national education policy, that equitable use and distribution and blending wherever online possible and wherever the physical mode possible, these both has to be blended. So this has been addressed in our national policy. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, another question is from Dr. Richa Kapoor, ma'am, and she asked that she asks about the methodology in which the faculty can contribute in e-content development.
Yes, we are going to be on this very important issue in next two presentations.
All right. So next question is from Professor Prakhar Tripathi, and he asked that in NEP 2020, what is the role of scalability?
What is the rule of scalability?
Yes, sir.
What does exactly mean by scalability? Means how to scale the various issues or various places, educational institutions. As I understand this, scalability means how we can reach or how it can be accessed, education can be accessed by all, or a way, something which has been addressed and advocated, how it can be made available to all. If that is the meaning of scalability, then it is the common, our all responsibility to reach others. Like we have made this FDP, we have come across this various way to propagate it, that our social media, we have propagated through WhatsApp, we have propagated to Telegram channel, we have made it further to all. We actually, this depends upon our own particular individualistic spirit to reach others. I am again telling ki it is not to be thought about there could be some government and it will make accessible and available to all. No, government consists of this, the democracy, it is consisting of all of us. And we are also governing, means we are our own, we are governing on our own self. So scalability is also, that is, we need to be accessible and we need to approach to all wherever and whichever way we can reach to what we want to address to them. So this is what I understand, and this is again resting upon our all collective endeavor.
Thank you, sir. So another question is from Dr. Ajay K. Bandwal, and he asked that how yoga has given active contribution in this National Education Policy 2020 as compared to past policies so far.
Yes, this question is very important, and at least 8 times the word yoga is coming in National Education Policy. And please do not think that this number is very less, because If you see the word history, the word philosophy, the word education, the word social sciences, the word research, so they are also nearby some kind of this kind of numbers in entire education policy, if you particularly talking about in English version of this. So this word yoga on very, its preamble from where the national education policy, the second para is starting, the word yoga, Ayurveda and traditional system of healthcare, these have been addressed. So this is very important. The yoga again and again coming in other clauses in other places in school education system, part of our policy, as well as in higher education and further portions in our policy. And yoga, that is the deriving the positivity as well as its ancient health care aspects have been addressed, and significant traditional importance, cultural importance have been acknowledged. And as a Ayush system, because the yoga is enshrined in our government departments in Ayush department, Ayurveda, Yoga, homeopathy, Siddha, and Siddha, 5 systems of Indian traditional medicine system, naturopathy also. So this traditional healthcare system, it has been kept as a part like modern medicine system. Those who are learning, those who are reading, those who are under that system, they should also be given the opportunity to know about the traditional healthcare system, as well as those who are learning the Ayush system, they should also be trained and given the opportunity to the modern medicine system. That is the blended way, because the healthcare system that should be available to all should be a kind of way in which a various healthcare mode they are available, that should be known to all. Like if we can prevent some if I mean to say not disease but disorders, because through disorder to disease it becomes. So we need, if we can prevent some disorder with our lifestyle change, with our becoming the energetic more, with our making our systems more routine and tuned and toned. So this yogic practices of course have been acknowledged in foreign countries, and it has been also health care, their aspects acknowledged by the UNESCO. So that has been emphasized in our national education policy as a healthcare system, and their benefits to be derived. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So another question is from Professor Shubham Kesarwani, and he asked that will API score role and its importance will continue in the same potential as it used to, or it will be affected by NEP for scholars, research scholars?
This is actually the question. As far as the current current standards and current regulations are there, they are in force. If any regulations or any need of the scenario for regulating the higher education's APIs and credit system, so that will be, of course, in online education policies, as you have seen that various ways for this online education research, their accreditation. So maybe in future also we might see some kind of regulation regulating our online mode of education and learning. Like webinars, they are going on. There might not be the earlier word of webinar so prominently in our this API regulations. So it might come. So there are always possibility to include and regulate through the regulatory bodies like UGC, AICTE, and other regulatory bodies in standardizations of education and research. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So another question is from Dr. Bharati, and she asked that what are the measures taken to reduce the digital divide in the rural and hilly areas? There is connectivity problem. Then how can universal education is possible?
Yes, this has been thought, as we have seen in the presentation, that digital divide and accessibility and the way various operating systems are there. If we prepare some applications, then it is compatible to one device, to not device. As we see that Zoom has to be downloaded, then it will work. There are several other online platforms which require different kinds of apps. They has to be compatible. We have the Android app. Earlier we have some other kind of platform. Chinese people are using their own platform and developing again other than the Google, this Android. So what could be the future scenario, including the very issues that is addressed in the question, that is the hilly area, rural area, or where still online accessibility has to be done. So our policy clauses which are addressing that, first thing is to pilot studies about the different devices, a different way. Of course, the way health aspects also have been covered in this. And in the last, the accessibility in the hilly areas where the network problem is there, as we do also see, we are here 240 people. If suppose everybody makes the video on, leave the hilly area, there might be many people who are connected here and trying to at least listen. There may be the difficulty of the network bandwidth. Immediately the message will come in their mobile, network bandwidth problem. So these are the issues. And we are growing up toward the further 5G, 4G, even let me talk about this Google Meet platform, or this other ways, WebEx platform. So a different kind of network bandwidth is required, becoming connected with this online mode. So they are there. How they need to be scaled up, how we may further, we may be resourceful. These are for all us challenges in online mode of education and research. So with the government, with the technology player who are building up technology, the software and the hardware, mobile companies or the laptops, or those who are preparing educational apps, these all the challenges are simultaneous together. Abroad players are there, so together it can be done. Suppose not at all any online accessibility there in the hilly area, so can there be a one-time accessibility? Can they be downloaded and seen later on? So these all issues, and people who are there, who are in the either in the government or the educational sector, they are to see how the connectivity issues to be resolved, how the what are the other ways, because we are not only having the hilly areas are across the globe. What other people are doing, what is the solution is available, and how, which way, means economical way it can be implemented, it can be made accessible to all. These all together actually we are to face this, and we have to make it solve, or at least resolve, or at least to initiate in this direction. So I can say this thing at this juncture, as a collective our endeavor.
Thank you so much, sir. Participants, we will take other questions towards the end of the session. For now, we shall move on to further presentations by sir.
Thank you. So next presentation, I wish to take this online and open educational resource and e-content. A part of questions were on it, and I am also again screen sharing so that you can see, and this time it should not be disturbed. So yes, so this is a small presentation, and before opening this online and open educational resources and e-content, I wish to say that for last I have been trained in computer science, and I was also graduated in this, and also in sometimes 2005 I launched one website also, and prepared 4-quadrant in sometimes 2007 and 8 when the Sakshat education was being and coming into the scenario. And last 6-7 months we have organized several online programs, webinars nationally and internationally, and they have been live broadcasted around the country, and we have reached almost 1,26,000 viewers through our channels, means ICPR. So with this humble opening, I am just opening it. I am not so much expert, also having said, with this various platforms which are going to come in next, but with this addendum to this, our online education and research, I am coming to this. This is the SWAYAM that we saw in our national education policy. It was addressed there, and study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. This SWAYAM platform, which is providing opportunities for a lifelong learning, and learner may get the opportunities to learn hundreds of courses. This program is an initiative of Government of India and designed to achieve 3 cardinal principles of educational policy, that is the access, equity and quality. So this SWAYAM platform as a active learning for young aspiring mind, and you can see the link which is available to all to see what is this SWAYAM, and we can see this SWAYAM online courses. If you will click, you will reach to here. These online courses in engineering, non-engineering, secondary, e-books in NCERT, certificate diploma courses of IGNOU, and other information and communication technology initiatives like reading the book, learning robotics, learning programming. These are there, and this is the SWAYAM platform. So this platform is not only to learn as well as to contribute. Both opportunities are there. So this, we can move further to this massive open online courses. This is MOOC, another point, a very interesting point, and giving opportunity. That was being hilly area, we can prepare it, and this massive open online courses are the new need and necessities, particularly this in pandemic, which were in the force for by the already initiated by the government, and many have, I think, from this faculty course also must have prepared the courses under this MOOC, and these courses have been, this API also discussed in last questions. So these courses, modules and videos which are prepared under the MOOC, they are countable under the recruitment as well as the career advancement of our teaching faculty members in our recruitment regulation 2018. So if required, we will see also in later portion. So this MOOC is online courses for unlimited participation and open access via online internet media. An organization providing this massive open access courses, this is National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, UGC, CEC, NCERT, IGNOU, and they are addressing to the postgraduate, undergraduate, and various school and education level. What exactly this MOOC, that we can see, like PG courses, 128 PG courses currently, and undergraduate 243 courses are there, and you can just see the various course modules. It can be reached to this website of SWAYAM, a vertical of this SWAYAM UGC mode, and these courses can be seen, their videos can be seen, their text of particular text, their complete readings are there. So these are the very useful mode in online platform, not only to furtherance of education, but also to development of educational and research in our higher education and online mode. So this is very important in this regard. And we can move to this ePG Pathshala. This is another reality, ePG Pathshala, a gateway to all postgraduate courses, and Ministry of Electronics. This is the project. In short, this is the NMEICT, that is the National Mission of Education through Information and Communication Technology, and you can see the link that can be reached to this EPG Pathshala. And this is what is the actually the website that can be seen. This is the what is there in this, that you can see: UGC, MOC, E-Pathyapustak, E-Adhyan, EPG Pathshala. So it is a gateway to all postgraduate courses, and a significant effect, very resourceful that we have been capacitated with this effort. And we can move further. See, we can see this are the uploaded courses by our faculties around the country, the nodal officers, the nodal institutions, which contributed to the development of this EPG Pathshala on these various topics. We can see a number of courses, short courses, maybe the one-day courses, to the workshop, to the how we can read and we can make them for utilization of our students, higher educations particularly. So we can see computer sciences, economics, English, and even all subjects have been addressed, and there a variety of quality educational material is there. Having said so, these are further to be strengthened with our this online education policy, which is addressing, and also the reality of this online education, like this Zoom, we are connected, and it is emphasizing the importance of such kind of modules. So this is the 22,000 of modules, text and videos which are available, and there happens to be the lakhs onward in our further scenario with our efforts. And we can see this CEC, that is Consortium for Educational Communication. It is an autonomous inter-university center of UGC on electronic media, and established with the goal of addressing the needs of higher education through the powerful medium of television, along with the appropriate use of emerging information communication technology. And you can see the link which will lead to this CEC and what exactly it is. Consortium of Educational Communication, that is educate with innovative learning experiences. And this is again the online efforts, the project and events and availability. Now e-content, which is a very desired and coveted word, and everyone is nowadays either participation or presentation. Now it is building up e-content. Earlier we have this already this SWAYAM, our EPG Pathshala, and various ways they were there. And in our e-contents, this mission of NPTEL, enhance the quality of engineering education in the country by providing free online courseware. So how we can address to the large, that is we are 1.3 billion. So we need to come across such kind of endeavor, and we need to enrich them. That in that way only the education will be available to the masses, and quality may be maintained. And we have seen in our online education policy. Kindly mute to the person. So digital library of InfluVNet, which I also addressed, that it was established as a consortium library of digital of the all universities, and in 2003 we have been seeing this, and it is growing and networking all universities in our country, and very resourceful it is, where the books are available. This Akash educational portal empowering of teachers through workshop conducted by thousands of teachers at one go. And you can see this e-content can further be seen on our Ministry of Education government website. This is there, and you can see various way they are there, their website, how this e-content so far in a very vast and enriched way it is available to all of us. And this SWAYAM Prabha as a channel, as we have been talking about, let me tell one more thing. We have been using our mobiles in new generation for TikTok, and density of TikTok has gone to covering almost 30% of population in India, and nowadays it is barred. So when such a popular and music and entertainment things are reaching to such a large number of people, how and why not this our educational endeavor, where the lakhs of our all distinguished faculties, teachers, and NGOs are there in educational scenario and sectors, enriching and having the goal and aims and objectives. So these educational endeavor must reach to a large section of society, and they should also be popularized. So the first step is the knowledge of them, and second step to make them interesting, and also issuing the issues, addressing the issues which could be of any from the lower bottom section of the society to the highest section of the society. So this Swayam Prabha 34 DTH channels group and telecasting quality educations and contents are provided by these higher academic bodies in our country, regulating bodies also. And you can see the link swayamprabha.gov.in, and this is the Swayam Prabha higher education and school education. At a glance it is there. If you click, it will lead to there. And this was the small presentation, and I would like to now end this presentation and shall again continue, so that next presentation I would conclude, and there we can see the question answer if there is any. And immediately this is concerned with the online resources, learning, preparation and launching, because I have shown that these are the platforms, Swayam Prabha to Swayam to e-content to EPG Pathshala, they are there. But how our online education research we can in a simple way, because once it is come for preparation, everybody becomes the cold feet except the few one which are more tech savvy. That how it can be done, it is a very difficult way how to do so. No, the scenario has changed, technology has come on to our door, and we every day using, like we are using with Zoom, we are 236 here. If had it been the online broadcasted, there may be the thousands also of connected to the around the country. So it is now become the new actuality to new reality, how we can prepare our online resources. So in this presentation, I'm just going to talk and making you in a simple and interesting manner how we can make our own presentations, our more video on educational, our endeavor. This is the humble effort to bring out this thing. So this online resource learning we can do by live video modes, like live streaming, live recording. And as this word come again, it becomes, so it is very difficult. No, in this Zoom also, everybody on the laptop is capacitated to record his own presentation. So like I am opening the presentation, I am also talking, I may have suppose some videos also, they could also be shown as on online. So together this it makes one video on this online education and research, online resource learning, online tools and resources which are available. This material is prepared as a video, and it could be posted on one our YouTube channel. And again, I will come back to YouTube channel, because it must not be considered as a very difficult or Herculean task. So this recording at least can be done with this Zoom where we are here. This recording can be done in other our online platform I will be addressing. Streaming is also possible with our this online OBS system. So anyway, let us come to the pre-recorded video mode. As I already told that we can open the Zoom app at our home. We can say it can be recorded. We can open the Google Meet also in its higher version, in its school version. If it is purchased one, there is a recording options. We can say, we can share, it could be recorded, and a video can be prepared. So this video can further be edited with several kind of softwares which are user friendly, which are day by day becoming simpler to user friendly. So this way online resource can be developed, and it is not that we need to go a very technical software training and their acquisitions. So now the new normal is that the things becomes handy to us, and this program courses subjects that we can see how we can prepare like this. In this current video, I am giving the example. I have given one title of the program that we are discussing. I am showing that in that way it can be prepared in PowerPoint presentation. I think almost all teacher members can do. Even then, suppose somebody cannot do the PowerPoint presentation, maybe the old generation, maybe not the tech savvy or whatever the reason, at least they can speak as they are doing in their classroom. I also would like to recall to our all distinguished faculty members that please remember those days where we used to be happen to our classroom in our school studies or our college studies, and teacher used to come with the some chalks and dusters in their hand, and some teacher used to come with the different colorful 3-4 chalks and dusters. They used to depict the figures or the titles or their writings in different colors. So how it can be more visible, more appealing, more interesting to the learners. So this is the way. So suppose a person is only wish to deliver a lecture, then a different way, pitch of voices, again and again inviting attentions of the viewers or those who are concerned, and also emphasizing time to time the points in the lecture. At least he can give the direct lecture and it can be recorded with this Zoom. No matter it is required or no other way, even on the mobile screen. Let me simple, or more make it more simplistic. We can send the recorded WhatsApp video, but once it is come to say that to prepare some online courses, then it becomes that it is very difficult. No, it is the way and will and wish to do so. It can be done. So how we are using the technology, it is us to utilize. And I am also giving one more example that I prepared one WhatsApp group which was there for that social media only. That can be made further as a research group. Only the research contents are being sent. So the video can be the entertainment video, the video can be the short video, but video can always be an educational video, provided the sources which are available, we are thinking and utilizing it. Let us come to the prerequisite and guidelines and regulations, because whenever and wherever we are going with this, our endeavor for preparing online content, we should also know the guideline for SWAYAM and this massive open online courses. We must know and we should be aware about, so that if we are preparing something that can be utilized on those platforms, and that way it would be for API ranking or giving the credits also for them. So the links are there, very important, and that you can see. This is again guideline for development and implementation of MOC by the government. You can see this ICT program, and this one the SWAYAM guideline. Their links I have given here, and this whole presentation may be shared with all of you if desired. And this credit framework, whatever we are preparing for this massive online open courses, that is being regulated by the UGC standalone regulations, that is 2016, and it is like this. And we can see this one, and this way I'm again coming back to preparation of the courses. And this preparation of online resources, this could be the handy and available in mobile also, where entire screen is recording, even happening on mobile screen, like including movement of cursor, hovering over PPT or PDF file or imaging, whatever. Having said so, some might be thinking how a mobile can prepare an online video for education. No, it is possible. How it is possible? You can just see your mobile, there is an option of screen recording, and this screen recording records the entire screen. You can open, if any PPT is there, any PDF is there, or any videos are there, one after another, whatever is coming on the screen, this is the our intuition, our way, what we are presenting, any material, any matter or any course or any whatever we wish to prepare an online mode. So differently apps or different matters in different platform, maybe the PPT, maybe the Word file, maybe the PDF file, maybe the picture JPG files, and if they are coming one after another screen and a screen recorder is on, so it will at the last will make one recording of a video. In a most simplistic way, a resource is prepared. So just for the beginning of something, I am just telling in a most professional way. It may further be refined. Voice can be with some editing software, it can be given. So that way it is also possibilities I am just showing. It is there to utilize it. Now preparation of these online resources, ORLs, they are earlier we used to talk about a bit complicated profession type softwares like Adobe, Animate CC, Animaker, and so on and so forth. Several softwares are there. Their exhaustive training used to be there, but this corona pandemic and rapidly use has opened the horizon. I have talked about this Zoom that we are here. We can record it. Who are using from mobile, they can record the meetings on their system. They can save it also. Even then, whichever is going right now. In Google Meet also, this option of recording is there. In WebEx also, Microsoft Teams, Jitsi Meet, and recently indigenous GeoMeet. It also launched, but GeoMeet currently 100 users. There is no recording, but in very beginning version, as I saw in a very launch, there was a recording version. Maybe in future it will come. So in indigenous software, so a presentation or a talking can be recorded, video will be there, and further how to deploy this video for promotion and propagation of our effort in online education, I will come into this. So launching of this online resources, that is a deployment using video sharing networks, YouTube, like everybody nowadays having the Gmail account or whatever account. So if there is a Gmail account, so all other features of Google's available, like creating the YouTube account, it may be created. There are several videos also there to learn how to create. In fact, not so difficult, but at least video can be uploaded on your channel if it is once it is created. So uploading is there, it is shown there. Like Zoom, we have acquired through our constant and continuous effort, this coming on online platform. Once you will record the video, you will always be once or twice using YouTube. That it will be further. We can be uploading them this MOOC and SWAYAM and SWAYAMPrabha and so on and so forth, things which are available in our higher education scenario. And we have been doing this Facebook Live, we have been doing Instagram, WhatsApp, we have been sending recording videos, sending messages, Telegram groups is there, Twitter is there. Many of us must be involved in these kinds of things. But how it could be the educational, there could be the separate page of Facebook, which could be there could be the followers, means the students group or class or sections which are interested in those kinds of matters on the pages. They can be approached, they can be attached, and that way our education and our efforts can be made available to all who could be reached. Two things which are required. One thing is preparation of material, and another important thing is to reach. I have seen in this MOOC platform that some subjects videos have got only hundreds, means views in hundreds, and some are the thousands of views. So how interestingly, how visual friendly or viewers friendly from the part of others for the others, and that way it will increase the views or viewers of our program. So that way I end up here with this entire 3 presentations of online education and research, and with this I stop this sharing, and coming back to the questions if they are there any, and also as the very our Vice Chancellor of the universities who in the beginning of the yoga and traditional knowledge system, they have asked for me to say, if the time permits, I shall be talking about them. So now coming back to the organizer.
Thank you so much, sir. So there's a question from Dr. Manisha Shukla ma'am, and she asked that is yoga and basics of Ayurveda being included compulsorily for all the graduates for holistic development of citizens?
No, it means she's asking whether it is included or not.
Yes, sir.
No, it is there in the education, our national education policy, and it as a healthcare systems which are available, their usages, their benefits in health aspects, maintaining good health, or whatever way the treatment that we are tending towards the managing health issues. So they are there, and as the question says whether they have come into the courses or not for all UG and PG courses, this is for further for us who are going to devise the courses. This is the departmental committee, this is the syllabus committee. It is there not in the MHRD or Ministry of Education. It is everywhere in each college, each universities, each institution, they are there. So indications and policies, that is the नीति. नीति का अर्थ है, जहां से ये शब्द संस्कृत में आया, ले जाना. ये ले जाने वाली है, और लेकर के कौन जाएगा? लेकर के तो हम सभी जाएंगे, और किसको लेकर के जाएंगे? हम स्वयं को भी लेकर के जाएंगे, और जिनसे हम कंसर्न हैं, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स का भी जो अर्थ होता है, जिनको हम संस्कार या जिस कारण से उनका अस्तित्व, उनका जीवन, उनका भविष्य, उनका मूल्य, उनका संपूर्ण जीवन अच्छा हो, इन सब चीजों में जहां हम ले जा सकते हैं, उन इंडिकेशंस को राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में ये ले जाने वाली बातें तो हम ही इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, बीइंग अ मेंबर ऑफ एकेडमिक काउंसिल, बीइंग अ मेंबर ऑफ departmental education syllabus committee, or hence so on and so forth. So it is up to us to implement it. Yes.
Yes, sir. Another question is that, just a second, there are so many compliments for your session that it's very difficult to find the questions here.
Our members may be invited to say, if they directly can say, they may also be invited. You can unmute all.
All right, sir. Simran and Ayush, please be kind to unmute the participants if they want to ask questions. They can unmute themselves and ask the question directly.
All our distinguished faculties, respected faculties who are here, if they wish to say, or they wish to address, or they wish to remark something, they are very cordially invited to express themselves. Yes.
Participants, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, or you can put your query in a chat box.
Dr. K. Bhim Kumar has raised hand. Invited, please.
All right, sir.
Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dubeji.
May I request, please, while open your video also on, so that we can see also.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Namaskar, Dubeji.
Namaskar.
And nice meeting you after a long time. And really, it's a wonderful presentation. We have talked about many issues relating to online teaching and all. But my question is just apart from this, since you are from philosophy discipline, I would like to know from you that is there any emphasis in this new national education policy regarding moral education from primary level to higher level? Because I think that even though despite of all this engagements and emphasis, without moral education, I think that which is very need of the hour at present, because once and foremost that we are not able to introduce ethical component from primary to higher education, then I think it's all what you call avoid. So what is your opinion with regard to this? So is there any emphasis on new education policy, national education policy?
Of course, in all education policies, because moral and morality or ethics and they becoming the part of as a composite, as an integrated philosophy, also a vision of country, even in constitutions also our directive principles, ethics is there, science is there, so they are already there. So policy has to be based upon that. And moral and morality, one more important aspects which I would like to bring upon the focus of all our distinguished who are here, that with the advent of technology, that is computer science and management, as I told in previous our discussions, since 1990s, all our talented people have gone to the computer science and management and got graduated. And then we saw the problem of this economic liberalization and so much money and upliftment, that is the availability of many resources, making our life more comfortable. So a problem of corruption also was seen for last decades. So in 2013 also moral education and ethics and integrity particularly, they were brought in IAS service and compulsory paper for all aspirants. And so this moral components in our education system, which happens to be there, which is guiding force for all and building up the responsible citizen, law abiding citizen, ethical practices. So they always a guiding force for all of us and as a whole entire humanity. So that has to be there, and education policy has addressed it adequately on several points on these things. And this is also furtherance to us how they are going to come in this our elementary educational textbooks, which way in the form of storybooks or the form of lessons they are coming. And of course the role model, as we must be saying, and we are knowing that a growing child first see the role model or the first education from the home, from their parent, and second role model for them is the teacher. So their individual, their personal characteristic and their the way of doing and behaving always, and their the way of addressing and whole their personality is a role model to them. So in addition to the policy, we ourselves for the role model for this morality and moral education to all our people who are there. So at a large, I am just inviting and keeping the issues in our conscience to open all our faculty members. So definitely it is there in national education policy, and it is in our country. India has been the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and our literature, the message of peace always there, and it is enshrined. And because of that the tolerance, if we are talking about the spirituality, we are talking about that only, we are talking about the sattvic gunas of characteristics, and that is enshrined in our tradition with the ahar, achar, vichar, vyavhar. These are the components which were enshrined with the lifestyle. Kaisa ahar ho, kaisa vichar ho, kaisa vyavhar ho. These all together in totality giving the integrated personality towards the self actualization to self realization. So this is the morality, this is the ethic, this is the leading ideals in the life. They have to be there after all fulfillment of the worldly desire. So they have been addressed, Shreyas and Prayas have been addressed. So they are where they are in the means our policy. So thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dubey.
So Dr. Ajay Banwal wants to ask a question.
Yes.
Hello. Am I audible to you, sir?
Please open your
Hello.
video. Please open your video also, because this is being recorded, so you will be visible when this video will be uploaded.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Whether now I would be audible to you, sir?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for giving an opportunity, because it would be very difficult these days when so many of webinars are going on FDP, but they are very less interactive. Rather, it would be one-way interaction they were organizing usually. So it would be really helpful for every participants. And that's a very nice opportunity for everyone. My question is that, sir, because, we had seen more than 2 policies at the past. But the thing is that I found, I mean, when you will go to 2020 policies, very less things which I found, other than, I mean, whatever pedagogy they have given, that is outcome policies, I mean, outcome based policies. And second thing, whatever online, which is need of hour, that has to be included in 2020 policies. But what would be the phase which is left so far as 2020 policy is concerned? There are various issues so far, not only like online, because we are urban and urbanized people, and it would be very difficult to I mean, connect rural and urban at the same time, whatever policy has been included. So whether that the same has been left to the concerned individual organization, or it has to be decided by the MHRD and UGC as well, because ultimately state started to withering away, sir, slowly. So far as my concern is that, if you witness through this policy, you can very easily understand that the state started to withering away from their responsibilities. Whether to give a policy will be enough to I mean, rule an organization, sir. So what would be the basic concern so far?
See, you are giving actually the political statement.
No, sir. No, I'm not.
No. Ajay ji, now you have spoken the matter. Actually, this our common platform. States are withering. There has to be some statistics. There has to be some data. There has to be something. So we never, because you are also, if I understand, if you are also teacher, so we need to maintain the decorum,
surely, sir.
Decorum of giving any statement which is political or which is beyond our capacity. But we can discuss the issues. Of course, we are free.
Sir.
We are all free.
Sir.
So
yes, sir.
Overall, your concern is that there should be the all players, and it should be inclusive efforts of all.
Definitely, sir.
And
yes, right, sir.
It should be the reaching to all sections of the society, as again and again this rural word is coming. See, we are addressing the rural education, elementary educations, and we have been reaching, we have been trying to increase the GER, that is the general enrollment ratio in elementary education, because after primary education, many were leaving their elementary educations, and after 10th and 12th, in earlier times, a large section not used to coming from the graduating level, because either the graduating level institutions are not there in their maybe in the rural area, or they have to migrate somewhere. So the several problems were there, but our common endeavor, our national endeavor, each of us being a teacher, it is not in my spirit that I am concerned with my institutions and my students. Being a teacher, being a professional, being an educator, I am concerned with all whom I can cater. This is what is the profession, and this is what is the professionalism. So I do not think myself as apart from rural, or apart from any section, or apart from any party or XYZ. Wherever, whenever, whichever, whatsoever way I can reach, if that is the spirit, no scale is unscalable. Because once I know that this is the scale and I am reachable, then it is my inbound duty. We have talked about the morality, and I have told that teachers are role model. Whenever it is coming to our conscience that it is to be my profession and those people are accessible to me, and if I am not doing, then this is the first I cannot teach the morality to my students. So if any good things are there and they have come in education policy or whatsoever way, I know being a teacher, because teaching and studying is to Ensured and educate is to induce the sanskar in the students. What is the meaning of this education? The root meaning, which is the word coming from. शिक्षा जो है संस्कारों की जननी है. तो हम एज अ वास्ट लेवल यदि हम नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी की बात करते हैं, इसके रूरल की बात करते हैं, हम प्लेयर की बात करते हैं, हम ये भी जानते हैं कि शिक्षा जो है वो केंद्र का भी विषय है और वो राज्यों का भी विषय है. दोनों मिलकर ही इसको लागू करेंगे. ये तो देखिए गवर्नमेंट सिनेरियो का विषय है और केंद्र में भी हम ही हैं और राज्यों में भी हम ही हैं, दोनों जगह हम हैं. हम का मतलब शिक्षकों से मतलब है, लोगों से मतलब है, उन सभी लोगों से मतलब है जिनका शिक्षा के व्यवसाय या शिक्षा के संदर्भों से संबंध है. तो दिस इज द कॉमन ड्यूटी ना. एक व्यक्ति करेगा और वो अच्छी चीज है और दूसरा व्यक्ति नहीं कर रहा है, तो इसका मतलब यह है कि दूसरा व्यक्ति अच्छी चीज को नहीं कर रहा है. अच्छी चीज को लाने करने का दायित्व तो सभी का है. इस दृष्टि से हमें शिक्षा को, एजुकेशन को देखना चाहिए, उसको आगे लाना चाहिए. दिस इज द माय स्पिरिट एंड द आंसर टू यू.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very
Sir,
nice.
another question from Dr. Manisha Shukla, ma'am. Please, ma'am, ask the question.
Thank you, Ishita. Yes, I have opened my camera as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sushil Dubey, sir. It was an absolute wonderful deliberation. And of course, as I have been very sincerely listening to you throughout the session, certainly Shiksha along with Sanskar is our ultimate and final aim. And with respect to that, I have all my words of praises for the session. Of course, I don't have a question for you at present, but it is just a sincere regard and thanks and humble gratitude to, a person of your esteem. We have heard you so nicely, and
Thank you so much. Thank you very
Thank you, madam.
thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On this note, we have come towards the end of the session, and I hope most of the questions has been answered by sir in this very interactive and informational session. So in the end, now I would request Mr. Adarsh Dwivedi to present the vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Ishita. Very good afternoon, everyone. An ignited mind is the most powerful weapon on the earth, above the earth, under the earth. And with this, we conclude that education is the most profitable investment for the near future, which will end up the problem is brain drain in a country. The scheme of new education policy is just the best illustration for the same. I'm glad to have you all here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks speech and acknowledge the contribution those who worked really hard to make this faculty development program on new education policy a way forward. I, Adarsh Dwivedi, on the behalf of entire fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to Almighty God for making this second day faculty development program a resounding success. On the behalf of Babu Banarsi Das Educational Group, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our resource person, Dr. Sushil Dubey sir, who spared their time for their busiest schedules to grace this occasion. Your thought have enlightened our minds, sir. I'm short of words for your involvement and elegance of explanation of everything. We have been fortunate enough to have your uniting efforts for this faculty development program on new education policy a way forward. You have explained in such a nice way the concept of new education policy, sir. Thank you, sir, for clearing our participants' queries in such a nice way. I hope this fruitful session will add value to the participant lives and they can apply it to their potential goal. Thank you so much, sir, for such an inspiring, informative, interactive session. This brings me to the people that without whom this FDP would not have been possible. First and foremost, our chief patron, Mrs. Alka Das Gupta ma'am, chairperson, Babu Banarsi Das Group of Education, Sri Viraj Sagar Das sir, President of Babu Banarsidas Group, Dr. Arvind Jamkhedkar, sir, Chairman of ICHR, Ministry of Education, Government of India, Professor Ramesh Chandra Singh, sir, Chairman, Indian Council of Philosophical Research, Ministry of Education, Government of India, our patron, Professor A.K. Mittal, sir, Vice Chancellor, Babu Banarsidas University, Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, sir, Director, Babu Banarsidas Indian Institute of Technology and Management, Professor Kumar Ratnam, sir, Member Secretary of ICHR and ICPR, Ministry of Education, Government of India, Dr. Om G. Upadhyay, Director, Indian Council of Historical Research, Ministry of Education, Professor Dr. Monica Mehrotra, ma'am, Director of Babu Banarsidas Engineering College. With a deep sense of appreciation, I thank Head of Management Department, Professor Vinay Kumar Yadav, sir, for his enormous cooperation within the organization of this faculty development program. Heartfelt thanks goes to our organizing secretary member, Dr. Suresh Kumar, sir, Assistant Director Seminar, ICHR, Ministry of Education, Dr. Sivangi Tiwari, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Babu Banarsidas Indian Institute of Technology and Management, and our organizing coordinators, Dr. Sushim Dubey, sir, Program Officer, ICPR, Ministry of Education, and at last, Ms. Priyanka Singh, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Management. An event like this could not be successful without the extravagant efforts of the student coordinators, Ishita Mishra, Simran Singh, Prakhyat Jaiswal, and Ayush Agrawal, who all are well versed in their job. My sincere gratitude goes to all well-wishers for a solid support system and encouragement. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for showing their interest in this program. Thank you so much for attending this faculty development program. Thank you so much.
So thank you, others.
Thank you so much.
In the last also, let me, since already the formal vote of thanks, so my also thanks to all organizers and our all distinguished faculties that I was given an opportunity to share. So thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation, for sharing your such a wonderful and knowledgeable slides, which were very timely at this time where the amendments recently made towards the National Education Policy 2020. And whatever you said about this online education with this NEP, I believe will going to help different faculties while they are using their online software, using online paradigms towards traditional to this IT movement or IT move towards this educational paradigm shift. So we thank you so much, sir, for such a deliberation, for such an interactive session, sir. Thank you so much, Dubey, sir.
Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Information for participants that the PPT presented by Sushin sir will be provided to you